This might be the best suburb in all of Metro Atlanta, but to really understand if it is, let's take a look at some of the details of this city. One criteria that would really determine whether a suburb is the best in all of Metro Atlanta is if it was close to work, if it was close to a lot of employers. Obviously, we've got a lot of traffic here in Metro Atlanta, and so to be able to be close to work and not have a crazy long commute would certainly be one of the top priorities for finding the best suburb in all of Metro Atlanta. If you're planning on moving to Acworth, or you just have any questions about what it's like to live here, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'm a local realtor here in the area. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. Another criteria would be having excellent public schools. For many people who are choosing these areas to move to, they are families with kids, and so they want the excellent public schools. And so if a city did not have the excellent public schools, it certainly wouldn't be the best suburb. And so when we're trying to find the best Atlanta suburb, having excellent public schools is got to be on the list. Another criteria for the best Atlanta suburb would have to be having a good house, like a newer house or plenty of square footage. You don't want like a house from the 60s that's like 1,500 square feet and falling apart. You want to be able to find a suburb where you can afford enough home for the family that's relatively new so that you're not having to do regular maintenance on the home. And then for sure, good community. You want people who are similar to you, families maybe, or maybe single people or retirees. You want that kind of community around you, because I would say that would be an important one for finding the best Atlanta suburb. Also, being in a safe area or a nice area. These are all things that I would say kind of determine what is the best Atlanta suburb. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living. We put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the suburbs around Atlanta. When it comes to the suburbs of Metro Atlanta, what most people I think don't really realize is that there's about 100 suburbs around Atlanta. We try to cover as many as we can here on the channel, but it's just not possible to cover all of them. There are so many individual cities around the hub of the city of Atlanta. And the other thing is that you can kind of find a little bit of everything in each one of these cities. Like if you want a super walkable community, you can find that. If you want an area that's super far out and peaceful and quiet, and like you want lots of land for your home, you can find that. You know, you can find an area with a lot of young people, the close to work, where you can walk to work. Again, lots of areas like that, but each one of these suburbs around Metro Atlanta kind of does like one or two things very well. And so when it comes to finding the best Atlanta suburb, we're trying to find kind of a needle in a haystack. We're trying to find like a suburb that does all of these things really well. And this is actually kind of difficult in Atlanta, because what you find is that the suburbs that do like some of the things really well don't do some of the other things really well. So for example, a city like Alpharetta that has excellent public schools and is a super nice area and very safe, I would not say is the best Atlanta suburb, because you are not going to get a whole lot of house for your money. The price per square foot in Alpharetta is going to be very high. And so for that reason, I would say it's not the best suburb. It is a very good suburb, absolutely. Again, some people are just there looking for the super nice area with the excellent public schools, but in my opinion, not the best one because of the price per square foot. You can also find areas where you can get a lot of house for your money. The price per square foot is very low, like super far out there, country living in Metro Atlanta, but the public schools are garbage. Obviously, that's not going to be the best public schools. So what we're trying to find is a suburb that has all of these things wrapped into one, which kind of feels like we're trying to find a unicorn. So for that reason, this is why I think Acworth might be one of the best Atlanta suburbs. Acworth is doing all of these things very well, so let's deep dive into the city to see what it's like living here. For starters, you don't have to go all the way to Atlanta if you live in Acworth to get to work. Very often people who live in Acworth work in Cobb County because there are lots of employers in Cobb County, especially cities like Marietta. In and around the city of Marietta, there are lots of big companies. Lockheed Martin is in the south part of Marietta. That's just one of the companies off the top of my head, but there are lots of companies, and so very often people who live in Acworth work in or around Marietta or some part of Cobb County. You could also work in actually Cartersville. Cartersville is northwest of Acworth, and so there are a lot of employers in Cartersville as well, so it's very possible to be commuting to there, and that would actually mean a very little amount of traffic to go north if you're living in Acworth, so very easy commute for people who are living in Acworth and working in Cartersville. Another big one is the public schools. Here in Acworth, you've got Cobb County schools. So again, very good schools here. This is a big draw for many people. And then in general, this is a very safe, nice area. You've got an excellent downtown area in downtown Acworth. It's kind of got this historic feel to it. A lot of that history has been preserved here in Acworth, which is one of the charms of living in Acworth. It's like people kind of go to Acworth. In fact, I live just outside of Acworth, and I go sometimes with my family to that city because we're going for that kind of historic feel. We'll go to one of those restaurants that's there. There's also a big park, a big like walking, jogging trail just across the street from the downtown area, a big playground there as well that my kids love. 1885 Grill is also in downtown Acworth, one of my favorite restaurants. And so lots of things to do there. It's a nice area. It's a family-friendly kind of safe area in Acworth. And so all of these things attracts a lot of families to this area, and so you have a whole community of families, people who are taking a lot of pride in their community, people who are being very helpful and courteous to their neighbors because they're all kind of there for a similar reason. They're looking for that amazing kind of Atlanta suburb where you can find all of these things, the short commute to work and the excellent public schools and the family-friendly atmosphere. This is really what it's like living in Acworth, and one of the reasons why I think it might be the best Atlanta suburb. Not only that, but you can also find very affordable homes in Acworth, which is a big draw for many people here as well. In fact, 4755 Fowler Street is in Acworth, and it's currently for sale for $448,000. It's a 3-bed, 3-bath home, 2,000 square feet, built in 2025, so new construction. Another home in Acworth, just to give you a good idea of what they're like here, is 526 Regency Trail. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath home, 2,300 square feet, $420,000, also built in 2025. Brand new construction. And then there's 1648 Harmony Grove Church Road, is a 4-bed, 4-bath home, 3,000 square feet, built in 2023, 1 acre of land for this home, and they're asking $785,000. To be able to find a new construction home like that with 3,000 square feet in another suburb would easily be into the millions. And so people who are looking for that kind of more affordable homes that aren't going to break the bank choose Acworth for that reason. So again, another reason why I think it may be one of Atlanta's best suburbs. But of course, every suburb is going to have its downsides. No city is perfect. There are some things about Acworth that kind of may be deal breakers for many people, or red flags. And so if you're planning on moving to Acworth, you really should have the whole picture. So I've made an entire video outlining the pros and the cons of living in Acworth. You can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next one.